bit of wind in the trees. It's quite cool indoors and quite warm out here. I'm not remembering what's on the forecast for today, but know that there might be storms tomorrow. Looking at the apples on that tree, they're really growing now. I don't know whether you can see them. They're quite a good size. I don't normally harvest them until around September, and then it's a race to get to them before the wasps or birds start pecking into them. So sometimes I have to bring them, harvest them a bit sooner than I would normally. It'd be nice to leave them on the tree to really ripen, but it's a fight then between me and the animal kingdom. So, art. I'm going to move this now because this is just too bright. That's a bit better. I can't see what you can see, but not really, not very clearly. Yeah, I had misunderstood. I was wrong. I sent Claire a message this morning saying how sad I was to read her WhatsApp message, and she responded with, "I'm not retiring till the end of June next year, and the courses will continue until then." And obviously what she was offering me in her WhatsApp message was just some workshop days, or, you know, not instead of, but along with or on top of. So that was a real relief. I said to Mark earlier that I felt that what had happened is that somehow it had ended, but without any fanfare. Not with a bang, but with a whimper. And we had the meal out 2 or 3 weeks ago with 15 students, but they weren't my group. And I also realised yesterday that the group that I'm in, the Thursday group, had just petered out over the last month. Dean hasn't been there for months, and when I feel up for it, I need to talk to her about that and find out if she's ever coming back. Laurence hasn't been there for 2 or 3 weeks. I understand why she's not there. Jean-Michel isn't there. I think he's got health problems. So it was down to just myself and Christelle, only there every other week, and it just felt like my group had just petered out and there hadn't been a goodbye. So I'm really pleased there's another year to prepare for the ending and do something about the ending. In the UK, there would be some sort of celebration. You'd have a collection amongst your team and buy something for your boss if they were leaving, or your friend if they were leaving. So if there isn't any sign of that, I'll do something like that, because I need to mark the ending and be able to say thank you for the 6 years that I've had, which has been amazingly valuable. I can't tell you how valuable. So yeah, I'm really pleased about that. That's good news. The lasagna was really nice, and I had done the right amount. And I think the difference is that when we were doing the Fast 800 a couple of years ago, it was during lockdown, and I wasn't able to access some of the food I'm able to access now. I don't think I was doing online shopping from Leclerc in Chauvigny. I don't know, brain wasn't in gear and seeing that I could actually have my shopping delivered. And so I was using frozen spinach. And I think that would have made a big difference to the recipes, because one, spinach can be quite watery anyway, but frozen spinach more so, and isn't going to create bulk. And I think what happened with the spinach I added to the lasagna yesterday is that it's added bulk, and so it has made a larger lasagna. I've made it a couple of times before, never been particularly impressed with it, but this one was good, and it looked quite a large amount on the plate, which is nice when you're not eating. It's less than 400 calories per serving, so it's quite nice that you've got quite a good serving. It's certainly enough, but very low calorie. And I served it with broccoli and Brussels because they recommend serving it with a salad, but we had salad yesterday, so I thought I'd do broccoli and Brussels that I had in the freezer. I know some people don't like Brussels, we like Brussels. So that's that. And then this morning I made the tomorrow's falafel mixture. I've got a doctor's appointment in the morning, and I felt up for making something again this morning, and I thought I need to keep making hay whilst the sun shines. So I made that. It's really quick. It really doesn't take very long at all. So I made that this morning, and that's in the fridge. So all I need to do tomorrow lunchtime is cook them and make tzatziki. Is it tzatziki? The cucumber, yogurt, lemon, and garlic. I think it's tzatziki. Need to make that, and that's all it is. I might make a salad to go with them as well. So I've done that. Mrs. Black Brahma hasn't died overnight of fly killer poisoning, which is a relief. I was a bit worried because Mark gets a bit keen with fly spray, and it was like, no, that's enough. But I hadn't taken a breath before he did it, so I couldn't really say anything because I was trying not to breathe. So I wish I'd taken a breath before he started spraying it. My top that I was wearing smelt all evening of fly killer. That wasn't very nice. We bought I talked about it before, we bought a cat flap for Jazz. I nearly said Joe. For Jazz, that will register her chip and only allow her in and out. She is not coping with it, and Mark had it taped open for 2 or 3 nights, 2 nights at least, and she's not used it. So she, in the morning, I can see she's not had the treats that we leave down for her before we go to bed, and in the morning she's coming in the door. She can go out of it, she's used it to go out, but not to come in, and it is quite high and smaller than the gap she's used to, and we just feel sad. I feel sad for her because she has only got one front leg, and I think it is quite an effort for her to get herself sorted to come through the cat flap that goes into his bunker, which is a square cat flap, so not such a narrow aperture, and I think I just think this was too much. It was quite high on the door, and it couldn't be any lower because there's an iron bar along the door inside, so it couldn't go any lower than that. So he's put the old door back. I just think it's not fair, and it is only really to see if we can keep out the cat that came in, but I only saw it once, and I'll see what happens, and I'm going to sell the cat flap on Facebook, probably Marketplace, and I get all those inquiries. I'll be quite clearly stating buyer collects, no PayPal, no easy pay, and they'll be, oh, can you post it to me, can you send it UPS? Well, no, but people don't read, do they? I've got a few things I think I need to sell on Marketplace, but I hold back because you get such stupid people. I'm coming to the end of a book by Jodie Picoult, which I can't tell you the title of, but it's about an Amish girl who is accused of murdering her baby. And it's been really enjoyable, and I'm just coming to the end of that, to the, I think the end of the trial and the summing up. And I've just come across on YouTube a documentary about the Amish, so I'm watching that because I'm always intrigued to learn about that and understand that. And I sort of think, actually, wouldn't life be easier if you didn't have access to the internet, didn't have access to all that we have access to, and just kept your life restricted to a certain perimeter? I think there's some idea that they've got the buggies that they ride because it sort of prevents them going much further than 15 miles, and I sort of think life is simpler in many ways. They work hard, but I think they're not exposed to what we're exposed to. They're just not exposed to it, and And then I think back in history to in France, where not that long ago, relatively, people only really knew about what was going on 2 or 3 fields away. Any further than that, they weren't really going to find out what was going on until somebody passed by, and I can't think of the names of them now, who were people that used to roam the countryside selling stuff. What were they called? Later on they were called travelling salesmen, but they were called something else. I can't remember what. But that's where you'd get your news from, or you'd get your news from if you did travel a bit further once a week to the market. And back then you didn't have to worry about what was happening in other countries. I think we're so exposed now to awful events in other countries that we can do nothing about, and we're left impotent. And I think it just adds to our stress levels. And it's normal, isn't it? It's like for those of us, for me, born in the 60s, I've spent my life being exposed to what's going on in the Biafra. Always remember, don't forget the Biafran children when I wanted to leave what was on my plate. So all of my life exposed to things that I could do nothing about. And I sort of looking at the Amish and thinking, it's interesting. I'm not going to go further than that because I obviously don't know enough to really say, wouldn't that be better? Because it probably wouldn't. And some people will see it maybe close. Well, I don't think, they look similar. The women dress similar to the Handmaid's Tale women, and I don't think there's any similarities there. But yeah, I think a simple life sometimes is probably better for one's santé. Yeah. So it's warmer out here than it is indoors. I should go back in now and continue watching my documentary, and then I'm going to come out here and read my book. Finish reading that and work out what I'm going to read next. It's now Sunday afternoon. It's 1 o'clock in the afternoon on Sunday, and the lavender slow motion video has been uploading since probably 1 o'clock yesterday. He's about halfway up, and then you'll probably never see it. So, but it's an experiment, and I'll probably wish that I hadn't bothered. But it's not causing me any bother really. It's just uploading, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. I think, but it's not a bother. Okay, have a nice Sunday weekend wherever you are, and I hope you're well.